Baltimore, Maryland setting a new record with, as you can see right there, 343 murders last year, making it the most per capita in that city's history. And get this, some people there are now blaming the violence on a reduced police presence.
The police has distanced themselves, and the community has distanced themselves even further. But as a result of this, we don't see the policing, the level of policing we need in our community to keep the crime down in these cities that we're seeing bleed to death.
Somebody who knows all about this is former Baltimore police officer Neill Franklin, joins us right now with reaction. Officer, thank you very much. So he's saying the reduced police presence has resulted in a higher murder rate. Well, why exactly is there a reduced police presence?
Well, it depends on what you mean by reduced police presence.
Well, that's what he was referring to.
Fewer number of police. I guess he's talking about the lack of engagement. But you have to understand, Baltimore City just went through a Department of Justice investigation. And from that investigation, we discovered that there were a lot of improprieties, that there was, a lot of unconstitutional policing. But that's a leadership issue. That's a management issue. Let's stop blaming the street cops. Do they have their problems? Yes, but this is a management issue. It's a leadership issue. Let's stop dumping on the cops for what is truly a societal failure. There are many, many factors that come into play here, such as jobs, health care, education, housing, a whole laundry list of things. If you want to dump on one segment of society, let's dump on our political leaders who have the power to change things at the societal level here.
Ultimately, Neill, the police officer, the beat cop in Baltimore feels threatened. I mean, you look at after Freddie Gray, we've seen this all across the country after Ferguson as well. There are so many police officers who are reluctant to be proactive because they're worried they're going to wind up in the 6 o'clock news.
Well, that's true. I mean, think back to 2005. We made 108,000 arrests in Baltimore City, where we have a population of about 600,000 people. Yeah, that was over-policing. That was a big problem. But what were the police doing? They were doing what they were directed to do. The police will do what you tell them to do, what their leadership has them do. We need strong leadership at the political level, at the police leadership level, to direct those police officers, to point them in the right direction, to teach them constitutional policing, to teach them how to engage the public with respect and dignity, but do it assertively, not aggressively.
Sure. And Neill, you were talking a little while ago about how society has, the societal pressures. One of those things in Baltimore, I understand you mentioned to one of our producers, was the importance of the family, because in many cases the family structure is broken down.
Yeah, it has. And again, there are plenty of reasons for this. And this didn't happen overnight. We're talking decades of decay in cities like Baltimore, where you don't have the support mechanisms for these families that truly need it. And at the end of the day, they become incapable of raising children under, on a moral foundation. And our criminal justice system is a big part of that. But again, who's responsible? Our leadership.
So you're saying don't blame the cops, blame the city, an unhealthy community, essentially.
Oh, absolutely. But we got to dig deep to find out how these communities got to where they are with this decay and the disintegration of the family unit. And if we do that, let's put forth a long-term plan for fixing it, not a 2-year or 4-year plan in line with the next election. It's got to be a generational plan, 10, 15 years at least.
All right. Tall order. Neill Franklin, former Baltimore police officer. Thank you, sir, for joining us live today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.